Hello and welcome. In this video I want to give you some tips and tricks for better Wi-Fi. To get good Wi-Fi you need to think before buying anything. How big is the house or apartment? What type of wall and ceiling is it? What type of building, a one flat house or a big duplex with many apartments? Wi-Fi is using radio waves to transmit between devices, using radio frequencies. 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz. 2.4 GHz has a good coverage but is not as fast as 5 GHz. 5 GHz is faster than 2.4 GHz but has a weaker signal than 2.4 GHz. Wi-Fi signals can travel only so far. It can be slowed or blocked by certain materials, such as metal, tile, stone, or water. For these reasons, it's best to avoid placing your Wi-Fi device near a bathroom, behind or underneath metal furniture, or near any kind of large water container, like a fish tank. If your wireless signal is forced to pass through these materials before reaching your devices, you may suffer slowed speeds and service interruptions. Wi-Fi signals can also get interrupted by radio waves from other devices, including cordless phones, baby monitors, microwaves, and Bluetooth speakers. The placement of the router. Choose a central location. A central location will usually offer the best router placement. This may look different for everyone as the central location isn't necessarily the center of your home. Instead, think of it as the center of where your devices will be and work from there. Raise your router off the floor. If your router is on the floor, the signal is limited because the router has to work harder to broadcast it higher. Raising your router off the floor can improve your Wi-Fi signal strength. Don't put your router in a corner. Just like putting your router on the floor will limit the signal, so will putting it in a corner. The signal will have to go through walls as soon as it's sent out, slowing and weakening the signal almost immediately. To cover large areas may need an access point, Wi-Fi extender, repeater, or connect your distance device by cable. Wi-Fi signal is divided into channels. Your router uses a particular Wi-Fi channel to communicate with the devices around your home. Most routers will choose the channel for you, but if neighboring wireless networks are also using the same channel, you'll encounter signal congestion. A good router set to automatic will try to choose the least congested channel, but older or cheaper routers may just choose a predefined channel, even if it isn't the best one. Interference is a big issue, especially for those who live in densely populated areas. Signals from other wireless networks can impact speeds, not to mention some cordless phone systems, microwaves, and other electronic devices. Switching channels can solve this problem. Every router will handle this differently. Check its documentation or look up the instructions online if you're not sure, but you should be able to find the option somewhere in the device settings. Keep in mind that channel congestion can change over time, so if you choose a channel manually, you may want to check in once in a while to make sure it's still the best one. Most routers now use dual-band technology, broadcasting at the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequencies. If your router settings allow you, you might be able to prioritize one or the other. For certain devices the 5 GHz band will get you a faster connection to the internet, though it has a shorter range than 2.4 GHz. I suggest leaving both frequencies enabled since older devices will often work only on 2.4 GHz. Most modern dual-band routers should offer the option to use the same network name, or SSID, on both bands. Check your router's administration interface. Look for the 5 GHz network option, and give it the same SSID and password as your 2.4 GHz network. That way, your devices will automatically choose the best signal. A strong password to protect your router and Wi-Fi is a must in these days we living in. With more people than ever relying on Wi-Fi, the hunger for open, fast Wi-Fi networks is real. Don't think that your neighbors or other freeloaders won't use your wireless network just because they have their own. They will. You should encrypt your Wi-Fi and protect it with a strong password that can't be easily guessed. A strong password should include a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, symbols, and numbers. Don't use common passwords, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, QWERTY, and so on. Make sure the password is at least 8 characters long. Short passwords can be easily guessed with brute force. Don't include any personal information in the password, such as your name, the name of your pet, or your telephone number. Use a unique password and don't write it on a piece of paper. If you can't remember it, use a password manager. If your network is open, or has a weak password, you could have an unwanted guest or two piggybacking on your network. A tool like Wireless Network Watcher will show you all the devices using your internet and help you sniff out someone who might be stealing your Wi-Fi. Your router's admin interface may also have a traffic analyzer of some sort that will tell you which devices are using lots of data. You may even find one of your own kids is sucking up bandwidth without you realizing it. Once you find the intruder and remedy the problem, secure your network with a strong password, preferably WPA2 or WPA3. Since WEP is notoriously easy to crack, so others can't break into your network. If you follow the news, you've heard about the growing number of large-scale malware attacks that are costing businesses and individuals alike billions every year. Many of these attacks wouldn't be possible if all routers were kept updated. Once a malware infects a router, it can steal bandwidth and spread itself across the network to other devices. But even without a presence of a dangerous malware, routers with old firmware perform worse than routers that are properly updated. So with this said, make sure that you have the latest firmware for your router. The Domain Name System, DNS, is responsible for converting domain names into IP addresses. By default, your router is most likely configured to use your internet service provider's DNS server, whose performance may not be the best. The good news is that most routers let you change your DNS address, which is often the easiest way to boost Wi-Fi performance. There are many public DNS servers you can choose from, including Google's DNS Server 8.8.8.8 or Cloudflare's DNS Server 1.1.1.1. If you go ahead and change for a faster DNS server, why don't change it to a faster and safer? One I have used for time now is NextDNS, and I can recommend it to anyone. NextDNS protects you from all kinds of security threats, blocks ads and trackers on websites and in apps, and provides a safe and supervised internet for kids, on all devices and on all networks. You can choose your own DNS, but here is a list I recommend. Cloudflare, Google, Quad9, OpenDNS, Komodo Secure DNS. Once you've picked the best DNS server available, you need to go to your router's settings and replace the default DNS address with the DNS address of the new server. Like always, thank you for watching. And if you need any help or have a question, just add it in the comments below.